All right, it's turn two, and the first turn saw a lot of aerial combat, left the Chinese with a huge advantage in the end that moved the air superiority marker over in their favor. But a number of their aircraft did end up getting aborted, and there's quite a few Allied aircraft that weren't even able to fly. And because the strikes on the Taiwanese bases were very much ineffective in terms of causing collateral damage, the Allies are able to put together a reasonably respectable force to contest air superiority. So the matchup here, I think this is 50-50. This could easily go either way. The matchups are determined in a sequence depending on who has an AWACS advantage, and that's obtained by winning air superiority battles in previous turns. So the AWACS advantage is won in the favor of the People's Liberation Army Air Force. And so what they do is they select a matchup, and so everybody's got to be matched up with some fighter before you can double up on anybody. So they select one matchup, then the Allies select a matchup, and it goes back and forth until everybody's paired up. So this time I decided a few new tactics. For example, I took the F-22s, and you'll see that they have an double asterisk next to the 6, which means they get to fire in a long-range battle, and then a standoff battle, or maybe it's the other way. It's standoff, long-range, and then dogfight. So they're going to get 3 swings at it, and because they're stealth, they can't be targeted until they are in a dogfight. So it's almost better just to abort with these guys and get them out of the battle than to just be target practice for these stealth fighters. And so basically they're picking on J-11s, the F-22s. The stealth fighters for the Chinese, I love to use them in a strike capacity, but we need them to help remain in control of the air over the Straits of Taiwan. So the J-20s are targeting, looks like F-16s, and the J-30 is going to be targeting F-15Cs in an effort to try to bring them down or force them to abort in order to get into a position where they can contest who's in control of the air. So at the end of the battles, these get worked out in 3 phases. You do the extended range, standoff range battles first for anyone that's got 2 asterisks. Everybody, I think, in here has at least 1 asterisk, except for maybe the old J7s. Those are like MiG-21s. And so what you're going to do with those is they don't even get to fire until the dogfight phase. So you do your standoff, then your long range, then your dogfights will take place. And victory in one phase can lead to an advantage in the next phase. So if you don't necessarily cause damage in your first shot, you could be advantaged and get to fire first in your second shot, and on it goes from there. At the end of all of this, you count up the number of counters for each side in this box and use that to create a ratio, and that's going to determine who has air superiority or if air superiority is contested, and that's going to affect how the AWACS marker is going to move, and that has a lot to do with detection of ground units. That's going to have a big impact on the game. Actually, it's air superiority. Where this marker is going to determine your detection range, and AWACS advantage is going to affect later future turns air superiority contests. So that's how the air battles are going to shape up here in turn 2. It's quite often in this system that the aggressing side is going to have a big turn 1, maybe not as big of a turn 2, and then things can go into a flux where the initiative could shift to the other side, or it can remain somewhat static, and there's contests for the initiative, and so the game will actually speed up, because in turns where no player has initiative, you're not going to use all of the phases, so the ground warfare can slow down. And so I kind of anticipate that could happen here. We'll have to see how this one shapes up, but I anticipate that the Allies, with the United States being at level 2 in this struggle, and they got carriers on the way, so there's more carrier aircraft groups coming in, I have a feeling they're going to be able to contest this and make things really difficult for the Chinese. So the Chinese goal is to do as much as they can while they have control of the air over the straits and while they can control those waters. And so I'm going to have to explore new tactics, because this is the first time I played this game where the U.S. has intervened at this level. And so it's going to be really challenging for them to hold on to their advantage in the sea if they can't control the air. So we'll have to see how that works out. One thing I didn't do, and I forgot to do in last turn, but I went ahead and corrected it because it's an obvious no-brainer, is I forgot that you can spend supply points to transfer the S300 battery, one of the S300 batteries from the mainland to either the beachhead or the airfield that they captured just outside of Taiwan. So this is a little holding box for that. And so I have an S300 battery in there, so we really don't need the fleet. The coverage of that will stretch all the way over to the port that we've captured over here. Special Forces teams have put down targeting on the Pingdong Air Base and the Situn Air Base, I think is how you say that. So 2 air bases got favorable target markers on there. The detection track was attacked. Radar sites were knocked out by Special Forces teams, but that's all that they were able to accomplish. And one of the soft teams was eliminated, but they'll get that back as a reinforcement, I think, at the end of this turn. So not too worried about that. So that brings you up to speed. Early in turn 2, what's going on? This is NextWar Taiwan, and this one's going to get really interesting this turn, so hang in there.